Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, we are reacting to Mikel ARTETA'S 200 million rebuild that is going to happen this summer. He will spend in excess of 200 million in this summer potentially, and he will spend over 100 million on one player. This is the first summer that Arsenal will spend such huge amounts of money on one player. Of course, we last spent 72 million on Nicola Pepe in 2019, but this is also the first summer that Arsenal could spend in excess of 200 million. So how is Mikel Arteta planning to splash the cash? How is he going to distribute all that money in one transfer window? Now, he has a few weird transfer targets that we are going to look at, and some good ones that I think he's actually got those ones spot on. In the comment box below, I want your reactions on Mikel Arteta's transfer targets, including the likes of Kai Havertz. In the next video, I will reveal my own transfer targets. This is the first transfer window where I and Mikel Arteta totally disagree on each and every position. Who should we sign? I think, in this one, all the targets that he has actually gone for, I do not have them in my wish list. Hit the like button. Let's get this one to 500 and let's react to Mikel Arteta's 200 million rebuild. Now, first and foremost, he wants Kai Havertz from Chelsea. That is very, very clear. Arsenal willing to spend over 60 million on Kai Havertz to bring him at the Emirates Stadium. He's a concrete target for Mikel Arteta. He's pushing for the signing and Edu is working on it. I can confirm that Arsenal have already sent in an initial bid for Kai Havertz around 55 million pounds. That was rejected, but Arsenal will go back according to Plettenberg and Fabrizio Romano as well. Chelsea want around 75 million, and I think that is very, very that is very okay, because they bought him at 72 million and they will feel he's such a young player, he's got such a a great career ahead of him, and maybe selling to a rival like Arsenal means that you can overprice them. You don't want to sell to your rival, you don't want to strengthen your rival. So if Arsenal are really locked on to get Kai Havertz, then you've got to ask them for huge amounts of money. Now, Romano says that there will be flexibility on the side of Chelsea, and also the Guardian are saying Chelsea will want to sell this summer, especially the likes of Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, players they will get some good money for, right? So Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, actually Mikel Arteta really wants Kai Havertz. Now, it has also been revealed that Kai Havertz will be playing as an attacking midfielder, especially replacing where Granit Xhaka is going to go away from. I don't have a problem with Kai Havertz. I've told you I really rate him highly. He was never in my shortlist. I never thought that Arsenal will be going for Kai Havertz. It's kind of a shocker to me. It's kind of a shocker to each and every Arsenal fan out there. Now, there are two sections of fans, and there are two opinions about this one. Many Arsenal fans on one side think he's such a bad signing, such a very, very poor signing, because he's had 3 bad seasons at Chelsea. And the other side of Arsenal fans, where I actually fall, I think if Kai Havertz comes to Arsenal, there is no problem. But if we don't sign him, if we miss out on him as a signing, I don't think I would be really disappointed. Now, if he's going to play as an attacking midfielder, that changes things for me. That actually brings a lot of a lot of prospect to his game, a lot of prospect to our game. But then I also think every top team in the UCL in Europe right now has that top attacking player. You look at Real Madrid, they do have Luka Modric. He's such a very good, number 10. He's such a very good, creative player. You look at, Kevin De Bruyne at Manchester City, Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United. So I think Arsenal ultimately need that kind of player. And don't talk to me about Martin Odegaard, because we all know Odegaard is such a good deep-lying playmaker. So he will score goals, he will create a lot of chances, but in the real sense, he loves to play deep and do a lot of work, a lot of his work and action from there. So Kai Havertz, for me, this is a 6 out of 10 for Mikel Arteta. He's gone with a player that no one thinks is going to explode. He's gone with a player that no one is going to brace themselves when he signs for Arsenal. But he ultimately knows the value of a player like Kai Havertz. He ultimately has seen him play at Bayer Leverkusen, he's seen him play for Germany, and he knows there is a player in there. If you can use him right, if you can put him in the right positions, there is a player in there. But in my opinion, in attacking midfield or in that left pocket of number 8, there's so many other players that we could have gone for. But Kai Havertz, for Mikel Arteta, that is for me a 6 out of 10. I wouldn't really rank him highly unless he comes into Arsenal and just changes his season, changes his game to the levels of maybe Alexis Sanchez. When he came in at Arsenal, he was kind of a flop at Barca, but when he came in at Arsenal, of course, he really turned his career around. But with Alexis Sanchez, I think the problem was always about Barcelona as a club. They will sign you from Udinese and you will feel you are such a great player, but when you get into Barca, you don't get into the starting lineup. But with Kai Havertz, he started games for Chelsea, and apart from the wrong approach, they've used him, they've used on him as a center forward. I don't think so much has gone wrong in terms of his, placement in the club. So he should have done better at Chelsea, but let's see if he can do much better at Arsenal. Target number 2 for Mikel Arteta, I don't think this is a weird one, is Declan Rice. £100 million for Declan Rice is what Arsenal have to pay to get the deal done. Now, this one has its own concerns. One, he becomes the most expensive English player in Premier League football, but then he also becomes the most expensive Arsenal player ever in our history. If you look at how we've been breaking out transfer records, remember Andre Arshavin for around 13 million, then Mesut Ozil for around 40 million euros, then we came on to, I think, was it Nicola Pepe then? Oh, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for around 62 million euros, and then Nicola Pepe for 72 million euros. So you look at how we've been breaking out transfer records, there has not been this huge jump, apart from when we went from Arshavin 13 million, or was it 13 or 20, around there, to Mesut Ozil. That was the huge jump. But then from there, we've been cautiously upgrading, cautiously looking at who is going to be the next transfer record signing. I think at this time, Mikel Arteta has given it a little bit of thought, and he has gone, I want Declan Rice. Doesn't matter if we're going to pay 100 or 110, I actually want him. Now, I think with Declan Rice, we can all agree he's got a real big ceiling. He's got a very high ceiling as a player. He can become our own captain. He can be at Arsenal for 10 years. I think he can win each and every silverware there is to win at Arsenal. The big question for me, is he worth 100 million? Look, we are going to spend in excess of 200 million, and that's going to have its own effect on the upcoming transfer windows. I don't think Arsenal spent over 250 million in this summer, and then we go in January and spend a single penny. I don't think that will happen. And then, next summer you've got to think about it. We will want a center forward, in my opinion, and probably we might want another player, maybe a midfield reinforcement. I was sure the 200 and maybe 50 or 210 million euros that we spent this summer will not be an impediment to the transfers to come. But even if it is, I think he deserves it. Mikel deserves to get Declan Rice. He wants him. Every single club around the world, wants Declan Rice. And I really agree with Laurie on TalkSport, because he says this will be the first time Arsenal signed a player each and every club around the world wants, apart from, actually, since when we signed Mesut Ozil. I think that was in 2000, that was 20... Was it around 2010? If I've not forgotten, maybe 2010. That was the last time Arsenal signed a player that each and every club, each and every huge club and small club in the world actually wanted such a player. So for me, I think Declan Rice is such a very good signing. It's a statement signing. He brings out the idea of backing your manager. I think that is the signing that Mikel wants. And if he gets him, I think he will be totally convinced that this is the right project, and these are the right owners, and this is the right club. Now, target number 3, right from Declan Rice, is Moussa Diaby. Now, Moussa Diaby is a player that we've looked at for quite some time. I think it is high time we get a backup for Bukayo Saka. Last campaign, I think Saka really played so many games for England in the World Cup, for Arsenal in the Europa League, and also in the Premier League, in the FA Cup, in the Carabao Cup. He played so many games. So this season we have UCL. It means he will be playing every single night and every single weekend. You just need that kind of player that can rest, that can allow you rotate Bukayo Saka. And because he's such a very important player for Arsenal, it's very hard for us to go, we can sign anyone. It can't be anyone, right? It's going to be a quality player. Now, I understand Man United are also interested in Moussa Diaby, but Arsenal have also done some groundwork on this deal. I think this is the third consecutive summer that we have talked about him from Bayer Leverkusen. We want to sign him. He really, really likes, Moussa Diaby. Diaby is a left-footed player playing on the right-hand side. That is what Saka does. Inverted, scores a lot of goals, creates a lot of chances as well. I think he's had 2 consecutive very, very good seasons. And this is the right time to sign him. Now, last summer, he decided to stay at Bayer Leverkusen. And he said, I want to stay. I want to be here, right? I want to be here and, propel my football better, make my football much better, and then I'll see what happens when the summer comes. The summer is here. Arsenal still waiting to see if Bayer Leverkusen are going to reduce their asking price. Last summer it was around 60 million euros. I do reckon this summer it could be around 40 to 45 million euros. But what a signing Moussa Diaby would be, right? I've given 6 out of 10 to Kai Havertz. I would definitely give an 8 out of 10 to Declan Rice. The only reason why I don't give it a 10 out of 10 is the price, right? 100 million for Declan Rice is an absolute joke. If we were buying Joshua Kimmich, we would pay around maybe 70 million euros. 70 million euros for Joshua Kimmich. But Rice, 100, that's an absolute joke. But for Moussa Diaby, if I was to rate him out of 10 as a transfer target, I'll definitely go for a 7.5 out of 10. He's a very good player, very young, can play on the left, on the right as well. And I think he's very, very hardworking. He's one of those players that really fit our transfer strategy. Under 25, he's promising. He's going to hit levels and levels and levels, above. So for me, if he comes in and displaces, Saka from that starting 11 role, I won't be shocked. He's such a very, very good player. So that's a very good spot from Mikel, although I never thought that we would try to sign him this summer. That's why he's not on my transfer wish list. The next one is quite, maybe not fascinating to me, but it's quite very, very realistic. And that's Timothy Castagne from Leicester City. So Arsenal do want a right back, and I think, I'm not totally sure if Mikel Arteta is going to replace Ben White with, straight away with a new right back. That could also happen. And I think we'd need a proper right back. Timothy Castagne is not a player that excites me at all. I've seen Juventus interested and Arsenal. There are not even other clubs interested. Leicester City are asking for around 15 million euros. Not a bad one. I would rate it at a 3 out of 10 because there's so many good right backs Mikel Arteta could have gone for. But of course, if he's gone for Timothy Castagne, 27 years of age, there is something he has seen. Now, one thing I'll definitely give to him is the Premier League experience. And number 2 is that pedigree. 27 years of age. It's that pedigree, it's that experience that he brings to the side, especially to a very, very young side like Arsenal's. And then, look, whenever I look at Matteo Darmian playing for Inter Milan in a European final, in the biggest game ever in a single season, in a UEFA Champions League final, why not Timothy Castagne? I don't really have a big problem with him, but I just think there have been so many other options. Like Ivan Frasneda would have been such a very good signing for me. I think Kyle Walker-Peters at Southampton would have been a very good signing. But if he's gone with Timothy Castagne, I don't have big problems with him. It's a 3 out of 10 in my opinion. It doesn't show ambition. It lacks any kind of romanticism. But hey, let's see what he can do in an Arsenal jersey. So Mikel also wants Timothy Castagne. He's going to spend less money on him as compared to the likes of Ivan Frasneda, where we would spend around 20 million euros, or the likes of Joao Cancelo, where we would spend around 35 million euros. My target is Joao Cancelo. Mikel wants Timothy Castagne. Not a bad shot, but it really doesn't bring the chills down my spine. All right, let's move on to the next one, and that is Romeo Lavia. So right here would have been Moises Caicedo, and of course, Mikel Arteta is always getting disappointed with this Arsenal side, the board, Edu, and our negotiation. So, look, he really wanted Moises Caicedo in January, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing, you can say to convince Mikel Arteta otherwise that Moises Caicedo is not a good player. But I think Edu has reasoned with him and told him, look, we have to withdraw our interest from the rest of Moises Caicedo. They want over 80 million. If you want me to get you Declan Rice, we've got to spend less and less money in other areas. And I think Mikel has looked at the two possibilities of having Rice and Caicedo. Maybe they're quite impossible, and decided, I want Rice. I will not go with Moises Caicedo. But I also kind of feel like Romeo Lavia is not a bad player. So Romeo Lavia is the player Arsenal will try to sign after failing to get Moises Caicedo over the line. £60 million is what Southampton are asking for. 19 years of age, one Premier League season, but it was totally very, very good. I think in terms of scouting, this is a 10 out of 10. Like, there are not so many clubs that will come in for a player who's 19, played for Southampton. There are not so many teams that would actually do such a kind of a deal. But you give a lot of credit to Southampton for paying 10 million to a player who's playing with the under-23s at Manchester City. But I will give Mikel Arteta and Edu a lot of credit here. I think Romeo Lavia can be better than Moises Caicedo in the next 5 years. If he comes into Arsenal, a team that we know is very, very well managed, well run, our project is running well, very good players around him, and a very good manager, he can surpass the levels of Moises Caicedo, unless Chelsea can also get into that fire mode and get back to the levels that we know they can hit. So for me, Romeo Lavia, it would be a 7 out of 10 signing. Young, able to back up Thomas Partey. Probably the price might be the one that is worrying, but if it's around 40-45 million euros, why not? I'll definitely do the deal. Now, the last one is a centre-back, and that's Edmond Tapsoba. Of course, everyone has been talking about Edmond Tapsoba to Arsenal. Arsenal have done some groundwork for this guy on this deal for around 3 years. Mikel is seemingly really convinced that he can do this deal this summer. Now, I don't have a problem with Tapsoba, but the question is, if we sign him, does he start ahead of Gabriel? That's the big question. Now, again, at centre-back, he was never my choice. I wanted an older, big, huge centre-back. That is what I wanted. It's never happening. It looks like it's either going to be Edmond Tapsoba or Mohamed Simakan, but Tapsoba is the priority. Now, that one is also not a bad one. I'll rate it at a 6.5 out of 10. He's developed very well. 24 years of age now. He comes into a younger side, ball-playing centre-back, left-footed, huge, very physical as well. I would take him at Arsenal all day. I would really, really take him. But when I look at all these signings, Rice, Diaby, Castagne, Havertz, and Tapsoba, they don't give me the chills of a window where we've spent in excess of 200 million. It looks like an average window. There are one or two standout players, and that would be Rice and Diaby. The rest of them are they're not average players. They're very, very good players, but they don't give you those vibes of Arsenal have signed Julian Timber from Ajax. Arsenal have signed maybe Bastoni from Inter Milan or Tomori from AC Milan. They don't give you those vibes. But that is Mikel Arteta's rebuild, and that's what he plans to do in this window. Rate his window, rate his targets out of 10, and I'll see you right in the next one.